Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is Indy the Alchemist and we are now tuning into the love frequency. Thank you guys so much for stopping back. If you are subscribed, if not, you should definitely hit that subscribe button so you can, stay tuned for everything I have going on. I do everything from subliminals to reading to astrology to manifestation talks, to spiritual talks, everything that you need, you can find here, definitely. So before we get started, I just want to say thank you guys so much for 100 subscribers. I know that's doesn't seem like a lot, but to me it is, because this kind of just represents the start of my journey, the start of a very successful and abundant journey that is going to go very far and do amazing. So it's just cool to be addressing the first 100 of millions to come. So thank you guys so much for that. Two, this is a full moon in Aries video. So this is the astrology take of it, but I will also be doing an intuitive tarot take on my Patreon, which will be linked in the description box below. So definitely go subscribe if you're into the more psychic aspect of things. I'm also going to be offering a quick little mini flash sale for anyone who just really wants to know how to perfectly utilize the energy of the full moon in Aries on Thursday. So what I'm offering are mini tarot readings with some astrological insight starting at $17. Information will be in the description box below. Definitely make sure to hit me up for that. The sale will end the 2nd of October, but I do recommend getting it before the full moon comes so you can properly prepare if you're someone who likes to do manifesting work or magical work on the day of the full moon. I mean, it is full moon in Aries, so you don't want to beat around the bush. You would just want to get right into it. So, full moon in Aries, October 1st, Thursday. This is exciting. So, first, I just kind of want to break down what a full moon is, and then we can get into the deets. So, what is a full moon? So, the full moon energy is always a time that closes out chapters, cycles, and old energies to make way for new intentions. This energy also brings clarity and resolutions. The full moon also brings intense and chaotic energies, as it is the moon, which represents emotions, intuition, feelings, etc., at its peak, whether for better or for worse. So the full moon can either be very good or very bad. When you mix the intensity of a full moon with the intensity of Aries, which is ruled by Mars, an intense and aggressive planet, you're just going to get full on intensity for, a lack of a better word. Full on intensity you're going to get with this full moon in Aries on Thursday. So the full moon actually rings in October because it's on the first day of October. So first, we want to look at what October is. What is the energy of October itself? So the word October was developed from the Latin word octo, which means 8. The number 8 carries 2 astrological energies, Saturn and Scorpio. And 8 also represents prosperity, wealth, peace, and fertility, and all other things. So Saturn and Scorpio energy, 2, I hate to say the word again, but intense energies. Saturn is just all about authority, business, karmic lessons and contracts, relationships, anything, that has to do with karma is represented by Saturn. Saturn also represents boundaries, restrictions, and limitations. Then we have Scorpio, which is just as intense as Aries because they are both ruled by the same planet, Mars. Scorpio is also ruled by Pluto. And Scorpio is just energy that represents sex, death, life, rebirth, transformation, violence, aggression, all things that have to do with that as well. So we have two, what do you even call it? Two intimidating energies that represent October. So now when we look at it on a scale of Earth and farming and things like that, October is actually the month where farmers reap their harvest and thus their entire income for the year depends on this moment. So basically October for like us as a whole or individually, it symbolizes a time where this month kind of determines our income for the next year, right? That's how you should kind of look at it. So you have a month that represents fertility, beginning with the energy of the full moon, which also represents fertility. The full moon time is actually fertile energy. So you have the full moon coming in on the energy of the first of the month in a sign that represents the first of the zodiac, aka the seed. So this is the kickstart to huge new beginnings surrounding abundance and prosperity. So this moment is where you really just want to sit down, and since we are in Mars retrograde, you kind of want to sit down and plan like, okay, how is my financial situation? And not even just finances, but everything, but especially finances, especially if you're trying to start a new business. How is everything looking? How can I improve it? And how can I improve it by the end of the month so that I can be ushering in a new period of financial growth, luck, and abundance for, 2021. Moon also falls on a Thursday, the day of Jupiter, which represents expansion, abundance, and luck. So this is the time to manifest, to ensure luck surrounding your income, your business, and your ideas. So like I said on Twitter, this is the perfect time for anyone who's starting a new business. Even the last new moon that we had, it was the new moon, and what was it in? It was the new moon in, was it Virgo? Yeah, the Virgo new moon. That was all about business expansions, setting the seeds for your new business. And now the full moon is a time to really, again, plant those seeds with more intense energy. And this is also the time where if you already kind of been doing this, you got a head start, you will start to see things start to blossom at this point. October is the month of the 8, which is the number of Scorpio. Scorpio to me is like the butterfly of the zodiac because it represents transformations, thus a metamorphosis. So this time with the full moon is really a time to see who is bursting out of the cocoon and who is staying in the cocoon. So for the most part, you will be making that decisions. You would decide if you need more time to kind of get things together, if you need some more karmic lessons, or if you're ready to put those karmic lessons that you endured to use. However, we are in a Mars retrograde time. So this is going to be the time to where like some people will actually make the conscious decision to stay in the cocoon, but some will actually be forced to stay within the cocoon because we also have Mars square Saturn, which happens today, September 29th. And this is energy that kind of brings, with Mars and Aries square Saturn and Capricorn, this is a time where limitations are going to be happening when it comes to our energy levels. Limitations are going to happen before we can put action into something. This is just like, this transit is really intensifying the Mars retrograde energy. And it's just really causing like a lot of limitations and boundaries before we can kind of leap forward. So that's why I said some people will kind of be forced to stay in the cocoon versus making the conscious decision, because some people just have a lot more to learn. And, some people were slacking, not to say that in a bad way, but some people just didn't get the head start due to maybe like focusing on other things. I know with everything going on right now, our minds are kind of everywhere. So some people will need to actually just like stay on pause a little bit right now and continue to plan, while some people can actually, if you're up for the challenge, the energy of squares can actually cause friction, which is, a much needed boost to kind of push you forward, to push past limitations and boundaries. So if you are someone who you feel like you can handle it, this will be the perfect time to kind of like force yourself past the boundaries. This is the time where it's like, you know what, I have been slacking. enough is enough. I'm ready to put action into everything that I say. I'm ready to walk the walk and not just talk the talk. I'm ready to get things done. I'm tired of living a certain way. I'm tired of doing things a certain way. I'm tired of feeling like I'm held back. I'm ready to leap forward and really make things happen for myself. Mars square Saturn also is going to bring some anger due to restrictions caused by authority globally and personally. So you're going to see that some people are going to be protesting restrictions and limitations if there are going to be more restrictions surrounding the virus. There's going to be some, I personally believe that they will try to do some more restrictions and limitations for, I guess you can call it round 2.0. I feel like there's going to be just another period of restrictions, limitations, in whatever way that is, whether it's actual lockdown or some things closing back down again, whatever. I feel like some people will be angry about this. Some people will be fed up with just the restrictions we've had in general and, will want to protest or fight against it. On a personal level, this is going to be anyone who feels like they have been restricted by anyone or anything in their life. People will, with this full moon energy, kind of be lashing out on anyone who they feel like is holding them back. The full moon is also opposite the sun in Libra, which is forming a T square to Jupiter. So this is kind of a time where it's going to be fairness, balance, justice, and equality versus self-motivated desires and actions. And this is going to be kind of funneled through the perspective of Jupiter. Jupiter represents optimism and growth. And also we have Jupiter energy from the fact that the full moon falls on a Thursday. And also we have Jupiter energy from the fact that the full moon in Aries is actually at the 9th degree, which is a Sag degree, a Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. So we have a lot of Jupiter energy, which is the best thing that is actually happening to this full moon right now because, God knows we need the optimism and the hope. So seeing this energy kind of push through Jupiter, this is going to give us, like I said, that hope. This is the time to look at things from the bigger picture and from a more spiritually wise perspective versus getting stuck in like the 3D left versus right perspective. And it's funny that today, as I'm making this video, this is actually the first night of I think it's the first presidential debate. So that's funny, that that's happening tonight. So Aries at the 9th degree brings energy of triumph, of victory, but also success linked to death and destruction. So, like I said, full moon is being ruled by Mars, which represents war and destruction, but the full moon also falls on the first day of October, which, like I said, is ruled by the number 8, which is ruled by Scorpio. So Scorpio represents destruction and death just as well. So we're going to find that during this time, success can actually come through the successful closing of old karmic chapters. And that's exactly what the full moon represents. The full moon is closing out old chapters. So especially with this karmic energy from Saturn being represented by the number 8 and Saturn actually being represented by the number 10, and October is the number 10, you're going to find that, success can come once you close these old karmic chapters. A lot of people are being stuck in old karmic cycles, chapters, relationships, lessons, contracts, whatever the case may be, that's actually holding them back. And as soon as they learn the lesson, as soon as they cut these ties off, as soon as they put it into these contracts, success is going to literally rush in. And if it doesn't literally rush in like quickly like Aries normally does, because Mars retrograde, you're going to find that when Mars retrograde dies down, I think in November, then things are really going to pick up. So also when you have Mars square Saturn, a full moon in Aries, and the moon opposite sun in Libra, this can also bring lots of chaos and fighting for equal rights, justice, and freedom. You may see lots of protests surrounding, everything going on with police brutality, with COVID, with just anything where there is an abuse of power from authority or limitations and restrictions from authority. You're going to see a lot of people getting angry and upset and just not wanting to take any of the bullshit anymore. But I will say, however, with this wisdom of Jupiter that we're kind of seeing things through, we can actually look at the bigger picture and use wisdom to take a step back and realize that we may be fighting the wrong people or looking at the wrong issues. We may be prioritizing the wrong things. We may be putting too much faith into other people when we really need to take accountability and realize that we have our own power. And this is also on the personal level too. So not only should we, take our power back when it comes to authority figures on a global scale, we also need to realize that we have to take our power back in any types of authority in our personal life. If you feel like anybody is holding you back, unless you are a minor, you have to understand that your power lies within you. And Aries is kind of that sign of like accountability and realizing that your power is within yourself. Because if you know an Aries, Aries are ones where you can't tell shit to. You can't tell them what to do because they make their own rules. They make their own schedules. They march to the beat of their own drum. So during this time, this is the time to kind of really put that into perspective and to realize, wait, I don't need to be a part of a certain religion just because my parents told me that's what I had to follow. I don't need to wear certain things, or I'm not going to attract a man because of society's like fake rules. I don't need to, do this and that because other people expect me to. I'm going to do what I want to do because I want to do it. And that's just that. And also, I need to take self accountability and realize anything that's happening in my life right now is ultimately because of me in my actions, and I need to take responsibility within that. And if I want to turn things around, I have to realize that only I can do that for myself. We have to realize that, yeah, there are people who love us, and yeah, there are people who claim that they care about us, and I'm sure they do. However, at the end of the day, you came into this world alone and you leave alone. So the only person who really, 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 truly 100% has your back is yourself. And that is the only person that you need to rely on, especially during these times, because these are chaotic times, unpredictable times where the people who you love the most can be taken away from you, or they can simply walk away. So at the end of the day, you need to really find that strength, that confidence, and that responsibility and that discipline within yourself. This is the time where our biggest karmic lesson for society is realizing and learning how to stop putting blame and hope into an authority figure and instead becoming our own authority figure. Okay? We also, really quick before I end the video, we also have the Chiron energy, which is also in Aries, kind of meeting up with the full moon in Aries energy. So this is, again, the time to take back matters into our own hands, recognizing that the people that bound us or that we think bound us, they only bound us because we give them that power. So we need to realize that we can actually take that power back to heal ourselves instead of thinking people who caused the problems in the first place are going to heal us. And these are the times to really just utilize that energy to break down all of these barriers. So that's what I have for you guys today with the full moon in Aries. Definitely look at where Aries falls in your chart, like what house or whatever, and apply everything that I just said specifically to that area in life and just any area in life you feel that needs this Aries energy. But especially, so wherever you have Aries in your chart, also wherever you have Capricorn, because that's where Jupiter and Saturn are at, which are heavily influencing this transit. So for me, Jupiter and Saturn are in Capricorn. So for me, that's in my 10th or 11th house. So I'm going to apply those things not only to my first house in Aries, but also to my 10th and 11th house in Capricorn. So, yeah, if you guys want any specific insight, like I said, book that reading with me. I am going to look at, more of the psychic energy, and the intuitive energy surrounding the full moon, but I'm also going to put the astrological spin on things. And also, if you want to see the full collective reading, from a psychic perspective, it is going to be up on my Patreon, if not tonight, by tomorrow, because I just have so much to do today. But I'm definitely going to have it up by tomorrow, if not tonight. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys learned something from this video. I hope it brought you some sort of clarity. And make sure to subscribe, thumbs up the video, comment anything you guys want to see from this channel, and also follow my social media, which will be linked in the description box below. My Twitter, my IG, my TikTok, my blog, what else? My SoundCloud, and all other things. And yeah, have a good one, guys.